Well, it gives me great pleasure right now to introduce Edith Hitchings. She is the Deputy Administrator for Region 6 for Children and Family Services. And she has a large region. It goes from Forks all the way down to Stevenson, which is near Vancouver. And she works with 12 offices. So let's give her a warm welcome.
Hello. So I was one of those people that was here in March. Let me see the hands of the folks that were here, because a lot of you were in back. So there's some new folks here. So welcome, and welcome to our second annual biannual educational conference. When I was asked to do this, I said sure, of course, because I enjoyed myself last time. And then I responded back and said they wanted me to talk a little bit about regional stats, and could you please, give me some stats and tell me what I need to say. So this morning I was given my cue card. So I didn't have a real big chance to rehearse, but that's all right because I'm only supposed to talk for a couple of minutes anyway. So when Bruce handed this to me, he wanted me to make sure to say that educational advocacy is increasing significantly within our agency and across the state for children in foster care. And our stats are getting better. We have approximately 1,900 kids in out-of-home placement in this region. And as you heard, we have a very large region and actually have probably the largest number of referrals that come in the state. And even though we are the second largest in terms of size, King County is the largest region in the state. We are the second largest, and we have a variety of sizes of offices, whereas King County obviously is a metropolitan area, and we have Vancouver, which is our largest office, and Stevenson, which is our smallest office, and we have about 5 one-unit offices in this region. And so we have a variety of sizes within our region. We had 126 youth graduate or obtain their GED this year. When you think of that number, it sounds really quite awesome. However, we're not even at 50% of our youth graduating. We're at 31% who received graduation. They go through regular school and are awarded their diplomas, and we have 10% that receive their GED. So we still have a long ways to go, and this summit is clearly a sign that you here in Pacific and Grays Harbor counties are very dedicated to improving the lives of our children, so that, because they are, after all, going to be our leaders someday. I am also want to let you know that Myra Casey, who is our regional administrator, is up north in visiting some of the offices in the northern part of our region, and that's why she's not here today. But I did want to let you know that she certainly thanks you for your support and encouragement to the children that we serve. So with that, I will turn it over to your leader, Debbie Lynn, who is the area administrator for both Pacific and Grays Harbor County.
Thank you, Edith. And I would also like to welcome everyone to our conference. I'm very pleased that people are interested enough and care enough to wish to collaborate and find out more about how we can better serve our foster kids. To let you know a little bit more pertinent to our area, in Pacific County we have 60 kids in out-of-home placement. 29 are with relatives and 31 are in foster care. Of those 60 kids, 32 are school age 6 and over. So they are children that are being served through our various systems here. Grays Harbor County has 303 kids in out-of-home care. 83 are with relatives, and 220 are in foster care. 134 of those children are age 6 and over. And so, you know, statistics are important because they can help us understand what the scope of the problem is. But really, when it comes right down to it, in my opinion, it's more of a one-on-one individual thing. And so let me give you an example of what I mean. So there was a girl, and she was adopted at a very young age. And she was very lucky that she was adopted, because had she not been, she would have experienced a childhood full of domestic violence, neglect, physical and sexual abuse. So she was very lucky. She was adopted by some people who were very kind and who were not educated themselves, but they understood the importance of education, and they knew what other statistics also tell us, and that is one of the best way to improve one's lot in life is to go and get a good education. So they taught her this, and they took her to the library, and they taught her to love books, and they taught her to read, and they encouraged her in school, and they also taught her that you do your homework and that school is important. Her father worked with his hands. He wasn't an educated man, and he would say things to her like, "You have a brain, and so that's how you can earn your living. I have to earn my living with my hands and my back. You can have an easier life than I did." Her mother said things like, "You are smart. You can go to school. You can do it. If you study, you can become somebody." She believed them, and once in a while she'd have a rough time, and she'd talk to a counselor, and the counselor would help her kind of see her way through things. And when she'd go to school, she had teachers who would encourage her and who would also see the good things she could do, and they would support those. And this girl absolutely hated math, and when she got into the 6th grade, she had a teacher who finally explained it to her, and she understood it. She finally got it. The light bulb went on. And then in high school, she went through high school. High schools kind of can be a rough time for kids, and she didn't miss out on any of that, but she had teachers who also encouraged her, and teachers who, because her family was not wealthy, went the extra mile for her, and they got her things like scholarships and into programs that she could not have afforded to attend. And so this girl went on and went to college, and she had to work way through college, not once, not twice, went 3 times, and ended up getting a meaningful job and having a good life. And what made the difference for that child was that her caregivers inspired her, and they motivated her, and they encouraged her, and the teachers helped her along, and they also inspired her as to what she could become. And so that girl was lucky, and a lot of our foster kids should also be so lucky. And they can be, because the people in this room care about children, and each of you on an individual basis can make a difference for a child. So if you haven't guessed, that little girl was me. And so that will also tell you why things like this conference are so important for me, because to me it is not just an idea, it's a personal thing. So with that, as you will learn about through the day, I hope you will take this away, and you will remember that one by one, what you do does make a difference. And I thank you all, because none of us are in this room to get rich and to be wealthy and famous, but we are in here because we think we can make the world a better place, and we can do it one child at a time. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you guys all for coming. This is the second year, and we've put a lot of hard work into it, and we're really happy to have you here. So for a second, I want you guys to look around your table, and you're all probably sitting with people that you know, friends, you know, family maybe. So look at them as if they're your classmates. And then if you guys can look inside your folders, and there's somebody at each table that has a dot inside, or a sticker, happy face. Yeah. So now, as you guys have been identified, it would be great if you can just imagine yourself in your classroom and a social worker shows up to talk to you. And then after you have to talk about the bruises that you have been hiding, then the social worker then tells you that for tonight you're going to have to go to somewhere else's house because we don't have a relative for you. So on top of going to some stranger's house and you don't know who they are, you then wonder about what's going on with your little brother at home, and is your mom and dad mad at you, and you don't know where they are or when you're going to go back or see them again. You don't know if they're mad at you. So for this exercise, I would like you guys just to step outside a comfort zone for some of you and move to the table next to you. And just for the next part of the day, we're not going to do it for the whole thing, just kind of reflect how it affected what you learned, what it felt like to be uncomfortable, and just put yourself in those children's shoes just for, you know, the first part of the morning. And then during the action planning, we're going to ask that you reflect on how it made you feel. So if you're uncomfortable, you can ask somebody else at the table if they'd be willing to move for you, but just kind of a piece of reflection for what the kids go through.
So can everybody that had a dot in their folder please just hold up their hand? There's a sticker. Is everybody at a table located a folder with a sticker in it? So we're asking you to put yourself in the shoes of a foster child and experience a little bit of the discomfort that they experience, probably 100 times over, having to move to a new place and get to know some new people. So if everybody could just move, we're going to have you move once at the break, and then you get to come back at lunchtime. Thank you for being good sports.